Well, if you have a plan to motor west, take my way. That's the highway that's best. You get your kicks on Route 66. Winds from Chicago to LA. Get your kicks on Route 66. Jazz players, when they play the blues, we quickly get tired of just playing three chords. We want to do something more challenging. So jazz players, we have a few different progressions we use. They're all kind of similar in a way because we get into jazz theory and we can substitute something, but they're really kind of built on the same formula. And that's instead of just the three chords, we've got these first chords that start the same. I'm on a C chord here, then I go to an F chord. These are dominants, back to the C dominant, to the F dominant. Now when it gets to this point on bar 7, it's a 12-bar progression, so now we're into bar 7. It starts what we call a walkdown of dominant chords. So I'm on the first chord here, it's the C, I'm walking down B, B flat, and A. And this is the normal thing that happens when jazz players play. You'll hear this when you put on any record with jazz blues. You'll hear this walk down. And I'll talk about that in the book. I've got it really demonstrated in my new book here, what this walk down is. And then the next part goes up to if you're on C, it goes up to D, and then it goes to G. And these are a different sequence that you would use in your three-chord blues. And then the last two bars are the turnaround. So this sequence of chords, we got it's new chords that we got starting with the walk down. Then up here to the D, to the G, and the turnaround. I think I put in a couple extra beats there. So the whole effect sounds like this, and it's a familiar sound to you because we've all heard the jazz blues, and it goes. Here's the walk down. Turnaround. So I can use a regular song like Kansas City or Route 66, and instead of using just the three chords, I can put this into it, and it livens things up. It's like, whoa, we got more color happening here. And jazz players use this. This is like where it starts, and then we start substituting a couple of things. We don't do too much. There's a few variations on this basic progression, but it's almost the same. And it just kind of makes the night more interesting. Or when you're playing with blues players, it's a little more complicated. But pretty soon that complication gets very routine also. It's not really hard after you work with it for a while. The jazz blues turnaround that I played is based on a more fundamental version of that. It comes out of the regular staple of music, the 1-6-2-5, which is the most common progression, one of the most common progressions we have in jazz, if not all of music. And Beethoven and Mozart were using it as well. And it's all dominant chords in this case. It doesn't have to be, but the dominants are where the real common substitution happens, and it's called the flat 5 substitution or the tritone substitution. And it's just what you were talking about. Instead of a G, I can go to a flat 5 away and play a D flat. So that the 1-6-2-5 is, it starts on a C, then goes down to A, then goes up to D, and goes to G. So C, A, D, G, it's your normal 1-6-2-5. So instead of going down to A, and this is what you do, normally in blues, we play this, we play 1-6-2, here's the turnaround in normal blues. But But now I'll substitute it. Instead of going 1 down to A, I'll play the tritone substitute, which puts me on E flat up here. So instead of the A, I'm playing its substitution. Every dominant chord has one substitution. So I'm taking its sub instead, and then I'm going to the 2 chord, and instead of going to the 5, the G we were just talking about, I go to the D flat. So it's a bit of a mathematical puzzle. It's a delightful puzzle. How do you substitute out dominant chords? And it comes up with the hip sound. When you do it, it's a hip sound. You go, ooh, I get it now. I've been hearing that thing. So instead of with the sub, they're really the same thing. And the bass player can play it one way, and I can play it the other way, and it's going to sound pretty cool. Even if we don't communicate with each other, it's going to be pretty cool.